Hi everyone, this is Mr. Ong from Asterie Tuition Center. Today we are going to learn about coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry has to do about your lines. So what is a line? This is an example of a line. Let's say that this point is 3, 1 and this is 5, 4. So what are all these 5 and 4, 3 and 1s? Okay, so how you read this will be, your x coordinate will be written first followed by your y coordinate. So in this case, these dots coordinates are 5 and 4. Your x coordinate is 5, y is 4. So first up, we want to learn about how to find the length of a line. So between these 2 points, this is a line. So over here, you have these 2 points, 3, 1 and 5, 4. So how do we find the equation of a line? This equation is a bit long. You have to remember it. So the equation of this line will be given by something like AB equals to x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So what are the x1 and x2s over here? Our x1, let's say we let this be x1, this one will be y1, this one will be x2, this one will be y2. So to find the length of this line, we put this, let's call this AB. So the length of this line AB will be given by AB equals to 3 minus 5 square plus 1 minus 4 square. Okay, so solving for this, we will get minus 2 square will be 4, minus 3 square will be minus 2 square is 4 and minus 3 square is 9. So the length of this line AB will be given by square root 13. Okay, you got it? Let's try with one example. So remember this formula, x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square, square root it, and you will get your length of your line. So let's say that we have these 2 points, P which is 3, 2 and Q which is minus 1, 0. What is the length of PQ? Okay, so simply apply this formula. If you want to, you can label all your points. This one is x2, this is x1, this is x2, this is y1, this is y2. So PQ will be given by x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So who are your x1 and x2? So x2 is minus 1, x1 is 3, so you get minus 1 minus 3 square. Who is your y2? y2 is 0, y1 is 2. So 0 minus 2 square, simplify this and you will get 16, which is minus 4 square. Minus 4 square is 16 plus minus 2 square, 4. So this gives us square root 20. So the length of PQ is 4.47 units. Okay, do you get it? If you have gotten it, we move on to the next topic for coordinate geometry, which is finding how much your line is sloping. So let's say you see a hill like this and you see a hill like this. Which has a greater slope? Which is steeper? Which is harder to climb? This one, right? Okay, this is because this has a higher gradient. So the greater the slope, the higher the gradient. Okay, so gradient is how much a line is sloping. So take a look at some common gradients here. This is positive gradient, this is zero gradient, and this is negative gradient. Okay, then you also have this, which is undefined. Alright, so now we are going to learn the formula for calculating gradient. So you have just seen that gradient is the slope of a line. So how do we find this gradient? How to find the slope? So remember this gradient, its symbol is m. M in max is gradient. Gradient is your rise. Gradient will be your y minus y1 over x minus x1. Okay, so graphically it will look like this. To find your gradient, find the height and divide it by the width. So how do you find the height? This height will be given by y1 minus y2. The width will be given by x1 minus x2. Okay, so that's how you got your gradient, height over width. So we see some examples. Okay, so over here we have an example. Find the gradient for a line. Find the gradient of a line joining these 2 points. A minus A. Point A is 4 minus 5 and point B is 12, 1. What is the gradient of these two? What is the gradient of the line joining these 2 points? Okay, so gradient, short form m, will be just equals to your y minus y over x minus x. So let's say this is y, this is y1, this is x, this is x1. So use y minus 5 minus y1 minus 5 minus 1 divided by x minus x1 divided by 4 minus 12. So our gradient of this line will be simply equals to minus 6 over minus 8. So this gives us 3/4. Okay, do you get it? We will see one more example for gradient. Okay, so using this example, we have another question. What happens if you have a gradient of a line joining these 2 points, C minus 7k and D k plus 2, 15. The gradient is 3/5. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that y minus y over x minus x equals to 3/5. Look for k, find k. So how do we do this? Gradient is y minus y1 over x minus x1. This is given as 3/5. So who is your y? Y is k, y1 is 15 over x. X is minus 7, x1 is k plus 2. So minus 7 minus k minus plus 2, so you get minus 2. So this is 3/5. So how do we go on from here? Okay, remember your cross multiplication. So when you cross multiply, you should get 5k minus 75 equals to minus 21 minus 3k minus 6. So if we solve for this, your k will be given as 6. Okay, so this is how you use the gradient, the equation of a gradient to solve gradient related problems. So thank you for watching. We are going to go to the last part of the video, the equation of a line. So your line has a name. What is the name? You can find the name of a line using its equation. So what is the formula for the equation of a straight line? So equation of a straight line is given as y equals mx plus c. Okay? So what is your m? Your m is your gradient here. What is your c? Your c is actually the y-intercept. So I'll give you an example. So what is the equation of this line? So this line is as shown. Okay. And the gradient of this is 3. How do you represent this into the equation of a line? So this line's equation is actually, if you look from here, this is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point where the line cuts the y-axis. This vertical line here is the y-axis. So y-intercept is minus 2 here. What is the gradient? 3. So represent this into its equation. Y equals to gradient 3x. What is the y-intercept? Minus 2. So the equation of this line is y equals to 3x minus 2. Let's take a look at a couple more examples. So for example, here we will see more interesting cases. What about this line? What is its equation? Okay, the gradient of this line is minus half. How do you write this? How do you write the equation of this line? So you write it as shown. Y equals to mx. M is minus half. What is your c? C is your 8. So this equation will be y equals to minus half x plus 8. Okay, so hopefully you have understood what the equation of a line means and how to write it. Come, let's do some solving of questions related to equation of a line. So let's say that there is this straight line that passes through this point 0, minus 3, and gradient is 1/4. So what is the equation of this line? So this is the point, okay? This is your x coordinate, this is your y coordinate, this is the gradient. We do not know what is your y-intercept. How are you going to find your y-intercept? What we can do is substitute the value in. Substitute the value of y, which is minus 3, into y. Then gradient is 1/4 into your m. X is 0. Alright, so we can find c. C will be equals to -3. So with this, you can get the equation of the line. So y equals to 1/4 x minus 3. Okay, so a few more examples and we are done. So y equals mx plus c. Next, we can find equation of a line. What is the equation of a line joining these 2 points? This point A is 4 minus 5 and B is 12, 1. So what is the equation of this line joining these 2 points? Alright, so where do we start? We need to know what is your gradient m. We need to know what is your intercept, y-intercept c. So we have these 2 points. So when you have 2 points, find the gradient. So the gradient of this line AB is given by y minus y, y minus y1. So 1 minus minus 5. Then x minus x1. So you have 12 minus 4. So your gradient is given by 3/4. Okay, so you have y equals to 3/4 x plus c. You still do not know what c is. So what do? We substitute either of the points into this equation here. So let's say that we use our x and y as 4 and minus 5. Okay, so y is minus 5, gradient is 3/4, x is 4 plus c. Okay, do you see? You are able to find what c is over here. So c is actually minus 8. So yeah, you have your gradient, you have your y-intercept, you can get your equation. Y equals to gradient 3/4 x plus y-intercept minus 8. So your equation of the line is y equals to 3/4 x minus 8. Okay, so we have learned the 3 equations for coordinate geometry. We have found out how to find the length of a line. It is square root x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. We have found out how to calculate the gradient. This is given by y minus y1 over x minus x1. And lastly, we have learned how to find the equation of a line. Y equals to mx plus c. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.